That's right, I went there. It's objective fact, okay? You can't argue with me. I'm a scientist. Walt Disney World is better than Disneyland. And obviously I have to list to you the reasons that Walt Disney World is better than Disneyland in a top 10 list, because I am a YouTuber and I cannot count higher than 10. I think there's one number higher than 10. I think it's at number 15, but it's giving me the chills. Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida, the vacation kingdom of the world. Why is it better than Disneyland? I'm here to tell you. And it all starts with this little number I like to call 10.
But as you can see on this master plan, the theme park and all the other tourist facilities fill just one small area of our enormous Florida project. According to this scale, I am 6 miles tall. Now that's 12 miles from here up to here, and the whole area encompasses 27,400 acres. That is 43 square miles, twice the size of the island of Manhattan. Here in Florida, we have something special we never enjoyed at Disneyland, the blessing of size.
And he's right about that. Disney World is bigger, a lot bigger than Disneyland in Anaheim. Now take this as you will, a positive or a negative, but no matter what you think, the parks do feel a little less condensed in Orlando than they do in Anaheim. The different lands have a bit more theming to help transition them. The facades and buildings can be almost life-size. I say almost because not all of them are. Most of them aren't. But look at the Pirates of the Caribbean show building at Disneyland versus at Disney World, okay? It's a bit bigger, and while this may mean each park takes a little bit longer to navigate, it also means that each attraction or restaurant gets its own sort of almost mini land. There aren't as many carts and walk-up windows at Walt Disney World as there are at Disneyland. The SEA has a restaurant, this animatronic alien has a restaurant, Princess Rapunzel gets her own bathrooms. Okay, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but number 10 on the list is the gift of size. This mainly boils down to one particular reason though. At Disney World, they can keep adding new things. They can add on and change things without having to remove something else. So that's why Tron at Disneyland is so far-fetched. At Disneyland, Disney would have to make the room for Tron, whether that be closing down Autopia and the submarines or retheming Space Mountain, something would have to go. Meanwhile, over at Walt Disney World, they're building it. They're just building Tron and they have Space Mountain. 2 Tomorrowland roller coasters. A man can dream. I'm trying to cause fights with this video. I'm trying to get people angry at me with this one. Number 9 on the list, the monorail system at Walt Disney World actually takes people places. It's not just a glorified attraction that takes you between the Disneyland Hotel and Tomorrowland. Although it does take you between a couple of hotels, it can take you from park to park, hotel to hotel, or park to car. Okay, it goes between all of the Magic Kingdom resorts, the Ticket and Transportation Center, which is the parking lot, Disneyland friends, and also to Epcot. So, I mean, that right there is amazing. More than one stop, more than one monorail track or line. I think the Walt Disney World monorail blows the Disneyland monorail out of the water in everything but design. Those Mark 7 monorails, man. They're beautiful. If there's one thing that Walt Disney World does way better than Disneyland, it's transportation. And I know what you're thinking. I know what is on your brain right now, and don't worry. Oh, don't worry, friends. We're gonna talk about it. But for now, we're gonna take in the sights and the sounds of the monorail, sometimes the smells, unfortunately, before we move on to another sort of people mover that exists at the Walt Disney World Resort that is absent at Disneyland that I absolutely love to ride. What is a trip to Walt Disney World without a trip to Epcot? And what is a trip to Epcot without a trip on the Skyliner? Today I thought I would take you guys on a scenic trip of Epcot, but not just a scenic tour. We are instead going...
Coming into view is Disney's Boardwalk Inn and Disney's Boardwalk Villas.
All of my fellow Skylinerians understand that feeling. For me, nothing is better than hopping on a gondola and just enjoying the ride and the narration and the sights and the sounds of the transportation around Walt Disney World as you're on your way to Epcot or Hollywood Studios. Again, because Walt Disney World is so big compared to Disneyland, they have to invest a whole lot more in transportation. And honestly, I'm kind of shocked that it took Disney so long to come up with the idea of just, hey, what if we made a skyway that brought people places? And they did it, and you know what? I think it turned out pretty well. Yeah, how'd that look? Yeah, how'd the webbing on the side of the Skyliner look? Did it blow your mind? Oh, hold on, we're landing.
Please remain seated.
Now, I'll be the first one to admit I like going hard at the parks, okay? I'll be there from rope drop in the morning to rope rise in the evening, open to close. I love doing all the attractions, eating all the food, seeing all the restrooms that are Tangled theme, eating all the food. But there's something that Walt Disney World has over Disneyland when it comes to the resorts, especially the Magic Kingdom resort area and the Epcot resort area. Okay, you can just wander the Polynesian or the grounds of the Grand Floridian and enjoy that turn of the century / Polynesian style architecture, theming, music, everything. It's amazing. You can make a whole day out of just hopping between resorts at Walt Disney World. Meanwhile, over at Disneyland, we have the Three Amigos, Grand Californian, Disneyland Hotel, and the Paradise Pier / Pixar Place Hotel. And they're fine, like they're good, but you can't really spend all day, like an entire day, I'm not joking, hanging out at the hotels at Disneyland. At least I can't. Maybe you can. This clip that I use sometimes in my videos is footage of the Sassagoula River near the Port Orleans hotels. While it does have a funny name, yes, Sassagoula is a funny name, it runs all the way from both Port Orleans hotels down to Disney Springs. You can't walk that whole way, but you can walk most of it. And by most of it, I mean the Port Orleans portion. The Polynesian Village Resort has a white sand beach. What other Disney resort has a white sand beach besides the Yacht and Beach Club? Disneyland Hotel used to have a marina that's kind of close. They took it away, gave us a monorail pool and Trader Sam's instead, so actually that was very worth it. If you're ever at Walt Disney World, you can take a break from the parks, explore the resorts. I promise it will not let you down. Even Pop Century. Pop Century is, I have a soft spot for it. It's great. Here's one thing that you can't argue is better at Disneyland because Disneyland doesn't have it. Again, they used to, they don't anymore. Water parks and recreation. Okay, they have Typhoon Lagoon, they have Blizzard Beach, they have Fantasia Golf Course. They also, you can take a boat out on Bay Lake in the Seven Seas Lagoon. That's right, the Seven Seas Lagoon, where the ferries go back and forth. You can take a boat out there, just stay out of the way. They pride themselves on their golf courses too, but if it ain't mini golf, I ain't going. I want theming, people, theming! Also, if you got the cash to spare, you could do a specialty cruise. You can take Disney World's private yacht, the Grand One, out onto the Seven Seas Lagoon and watch the fireworks from the lake. Does that not sound amazing? I mean, starts at $500 an hour plus tax, but I mean, you could still do it. And if that's a little too pricey for you, do characters in flight. Aerophile. They changed the name, but the idea is still the same. It's a big balloon you can ride up and down at Disney Springs. You used to be able to swim in the lagoons and go skiing, but obviously that is a thing of the past. But that's not to say there's not a whole lot of fun to be had out in front of the Magic Kingdom. Don't even have to buy a park ticket. Okay, number 5 is just a rant. I just have to rant this one out of the way really quick and then we can get on to number 4. Why is it so difficult to enter the park in Anaheim? Why does it seem like they don't want you to go into the park or get your bag checked in Anaheim for Disneyland? I hate it. I hate it so much. You have to wait in this super long bag check line if you're going in through Harbor or even through the trams, and they go through all your stuff, they mess it up sometimes, and they hand it back to you. You gotta zip it up, you gotta hop on the tram or just get through the gate, and then when you get to the gate, you have to take out your phone or whatever. If they give you a card, you have to take that out. Then you have to have them scan it, and then they take a picture of you, and then you go through the turnstiles. It's such a long process that the people in Disneyland don't even know how hard they have it, because over at Walt Disney World, you have your Magic Band, or even, in this case, your Apple Watch. You can scan it. You hit the pedestal, it turns green, you scan your thumb, you're in. And even better, I would argue, than the touch points to get into the park are the bag check systems they have in place at Walt Disney World. No longer are cast members going through your things, rifling through your bags, making the lines go super long all the way back to Harbor Boulevard. Instead, you just walk through it like a metal detector. It's an AI bag searching algorithm that goes through your bag as you walk through. It's amazing. You don't have to stop. You just walk. You just walk up into the park. It's so easy going in and out at Walt Disney World. I need them to change the bag check at Disneyland, at least at the bare minimum. They brought Magic Bands to Disneyland and they didn't install the touch points. It's a rant, okay? I'm tired of being held up when I'm just trying to go to Disneyland, all right? I just want to touch my Magic Band and walk through the scanner and go to the park. Please, Disneyland, if you're listening, it's time. It's time to upgrade. I think you can do it. I know you can do it. Disney World definitely beats Disneyland when it comes to ease of access. I also want to go on record here and say that the bag check cast members are not the problem here, okay? It's just the whole system that's built around the bag check that needs to be overhauled. They're doing the best they can with what they're given, people. Circling back around, does anybody else just absolutely love Disney Springs? Now, don't get me wrong, downtown Disney has its charm. Believe me, it's got a pizza box trash can. The homage to Floridian architecture and just the sheer size and things you can do at Disney Springs, it's amazing. It blows my mind. You want to go see Cirque du Soleil? You can go see Cirque du Soleil. You want to go to the Coca-Cola store and get Melon Frosty Fanta because you can't get it at Club Cool anymore because they took it off? You can do that, and it's so much fun. And that's not even to mention you can get the best sandwich you've ever had in your life at Earl of Sandwich. That's right, the East Coast still has theirs. It's still open. Right now, I believe Disneyland's Earl is not doing too hot. And that's not even getting into other experiences, like I've already talked about Aerophile, but they also do trails during the holidays, and the amphicars. Oh, who could forget the amphicars? I've never been on an amphicar. I need to try it. Okay, now, wait. Now we can talk about it, all right? The rides, the attractions. Here's why Disney World has better rides than Disneyland. One, Disney World, mainly the Magic Kingdom, has a people mover. That's right, it moves people around Tomorrowland, giving them a grand circle tour inside Space Mountain, inside the gift shops, throughout the avenues. It's amazing. I love the people mover. Disneyland does not have a people mover. What else? Their version, I hate to say it, of the Haunted Mansion. While I personally prefer the Disneyland version, the non-holiday, regular, original 1969 Haunted Mansion, Walt Disney World's is, for all intents and purposes, objectively better. It's got more scenes, it's got an interactive queue, okay? It's got things that the Disneyland Mansion doesn't have. And the Disneyland Mansion has a couple things that the Disney World Mansion doesn't have. Oh, wait a second, he's gonna make his way to Orlando very soon. So, Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World, I think, it's technically better. On a technicality. Also one that I don't think is brought up enough, not a lot of people talk about, but the Astro Orbiter at Walt Disney World is bar none, not even close, way better than the one at Disneyland. It's elevated. You have to take an elevator, a literal old school 1970s style elevator up to the top of the platform, and then you get to ride the Astro Orbiter. But it's huge. It looks over not only all of Tomorrowland, but all of Magic Kingdom. You're so high up, you can see the Magic Kingdom Resort area and all the rides. It's amazing. Highly recommend checking out the Magic Kingdom Astro Orbiter if you have the time. The line is usually long because, like I said, you have to go up a lift. Now this one sort of ties back to the hotels at number 7, but the vibes at Disneyland and Walt Disney World are both tremendously different. And you feel like it should be reversed. You think Disneyland should be the more laid-back, slow-paced park because it's mostly locals and people who live there, they could just go there for fun. And Disney World would be crazy, go, 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 gotta get all this stuff done. And it's people visiting from all over the world. But it's not, it's the opposite. I think it's all because of the blessing of size. Disney World has a lot of corners and hidden little alleyways and places to get away from all the chaos and loudness of the parks. One of my favorite places to go is this little hill at the Polynesian, overlooking the bungalows, looking straight at the Magic Kingdom. Nobody ever goes up there, and you can just watch the ferries go back and forth and look at the castle and listen to the beautiful music that's playing and just sort of exist at Walt Disney World. Now, I'm not saying this doesn't exist at Disneyland. I think the Grand Californian lobby is a wonderful place to sort of do that as well. But this is just a case of there being more of these instances in Orlando. Walking the length of the Caribbean beach and the Riviera. Sitting out on the balcony of the Riviera and watching the test track cars go by. I mean, there's just so many options, so many things you can do. Going back in the Morocco Pavilion in the middle of the day when everyone else is going and riding Guardians of the Galaxy and test track and just taking in the ambiance. Walt Disney World, for some weird, inexplicable, unknown reason, is more laid back. I don't know why, but I love it. As if there were any other option, as if any of you knew that there could possibly be any other entry on this list that would fit in at number 1, other than, of course, Epcot. That's the new Magic Band that I purchased because I like Epcot. No other Disney resort in the entire world has an Epcot, okay? I also should mention, just for posterity's sake, yes, no other Disney resort in the world has an Animal Kingdom either. Animal Kingdom is unique specifically to Walt Disney World, and I think Animal Kingdom doesn't get a whole lot of credit. It's my least favorite of the Walt Disney World parks. I still love it tremendously. That's how much I love Walt Disney World, but it's unique. It's like a theme park living zoo. You can go on an attraction, experience these animals, learn about conservation and these animals' diets and habitats and lives. It's amazing, and I highly, highly, highly recommend anyone who's only ever been to Disneyland, check out Animal Kingdom. And then of course Epcot. Let's get into the real stuff. I love Epcot. I made a whole 40th anniversary video. Now, I love California Adventure and Hollywood Studios, but you can really tell they were kind of built as budget parks, right? Michael Eisner didn't want to put too much money down to make them too immersive, so he had them themed around the making of movies, and that still sort of echo is felt today. They don't feel really cheaper than Disneyland or the Magic Kingdom, but they do feel sort of less immersive. Epcot was before all of this Eisner business, and as I often say to people who ask me, why do you like Epcot so much? The answer is, it's the only other Disney park in the world, besides Disneyland itself, the original in Anaheim, that has that sort of Walt feel. Now, I know Walt wanted something different for Epcot, but what we did end up getting was original. It was the first sort of original Disney park since Disneyland. Magic Kingdom was an East Coast Disneyland. Tokyo Disney was a Japanese Disneyland. Epcot is Epcot. There's nothing like it. Same for Animal Kingdom. Although it can sort of be described as a zoo, there isn't another Disney park like it. It is original. It is perfect. So there you have it, my top 10 reasons why Walt Disney World is categorically and officially scientifically better than Disneyland. You can't argue with what I said because I'm a Disney YouTuber and my word is law, okay? I know, I make the videos around here. I know what I'm doing. I certainly don't have another video that may have some counterpoints to this one linked in the description down below. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. That's neither here nor there. What is important is I hope I sort of expanded your mind, expanded your ideals, and showed you why Walt Disney World is, in fact, the better resort. But let me know down in the comments below, do you prefer Walt Disney World or Disneyland? Because I really want to know. At this point, I need to know which one is more popular, because I like them both so much. But Disney World is better. Alright, I'm off now. I've made enough enemies on Twitter this week. I've made enough enemies on YouTube this week by saying one park is better than the other. So I'm gonna head off. I'm gonna hide, and hopefully the angry mob cannot find me. If you're looking for me, I will be at Living with the Land. Where else would I be? Come on, you watch Offhand Disney, right? You know who I am. It's at Living with the Land. I'll see you there. Oh my God, Behind the Scenes is back. Hello everybody, thank you so much for watching. This is now the end card for this video. It was a pretty quick transition, I know. There's no other video, don't go in the description, don't go to the cards that I'm showing on the screen right now. Don't worry about all that, there's no other video. Walt Disney World is better. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you're new around here and want more videos like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and be sure also to tune in almost every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern for Foolish Mortals, mine and Disney Dan's Haunted Mansion-ish, Worlds, Disneylands, and Cruise Ships theme podcast. If you want more offhand Disney goodness, please be sure to head over to my Patreon as well. Even just $1 a month will get you access to most of the perks. Like all of the Patreon supporters saw this video a lot earlier in the week than the rest of you. So like I said, just $1, it goes a long way, and it's a huge help for the channel. And of course, last things last, be sure to follow me on all of my social medias. I am at Offhand Disney on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow me there. You get exclusive offhand videos on TikTok that I do not post on YouTube, although I should consider doing that as like a YouTube Shorts. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. And just remember, Walt Disney World forever. It's way better than Disneyland, and no one can convince me otherwise. Not even myself. Goodbye.